We're joined now by experts that we have in the areas of diet and exercise. Our first guest is Christy Davis, who's the Assistant Director of Food and Nutrition at Baptist Hospital. Welcome, Christy.
Thank you.
And our second guest is David Grigsby of Mid-South Rehab. David is a physical therapist and is going to help us with our exercise plan. Welcome, David.
Thanks for having me.
Now, everybody does New Year's resolutions. Everybody wants to lose weight, and is there any success with this? A lot of people come in my office and say, come New Year's, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to get on a great exercise program, and a few months into it, they have quit. So what we want to try to do today is try to give you some information that can make your New Year's resolution successful. And these two experts here today is going to give us some information to do that. Well, Christy, let's start with diet. Now, you're coming off of the Christmas holidays. You've had pumpkin pie, which is one of my favorites, and turkey and dressing and all of this kind of good stuff. So you're coming off this real high with food during the holidays, and now you're going to get serious and be determined about weight loss. Tell us what to do, how to approach this.
I think that's the best way to describe it, because people they just go all out, starting January 1. But I think the first thing is don't set unrealistic expectations. You can't expect to lose 50 pounds in your first month of any type of healthy regimen. So being realistic with expectations, and the first thing, set a weight loss goal. But always, I tell folks all the time, start small. Start small. So a great way to start would say for the first month, so by January 31st, I'm going to lose anywhere from 5 to 8 pounds. And start with that, and then you build your way up with smaller goals related to nutrition and related to exercise. But the first thing is setting that weight loss goal realistically.
Well, Christy, I get this question asked all the time is, what about all of these things that you see on television? Fat burner pill, this pill and that pill, and you can get an injection and make you lose weight. Doesn't all that stuff work?
Absolutely not. There is no magic, mystical item that's going to make you drop 50 pounds and look like a model. There's nothing out there. There are things that...
David looks like a model, but go ahead.
Good job. But no, there's nothing out there, and that's because our bodies are made to work like a car. If we have to feed it regularly, we have to take care of it, or it's going to break down. So there's no pill, there's no magic diet, and actually in my field as a dietitian, I never use the word diet. It's really modifying your current meal plan and following 3 meals a day and including all food groups. And kind of a tip that I do tell patients and even family, friends, and colleagues at the hospital is, if there's ever some type of meal plan or diet, if it eliminates a food group, it's really not a good plan, because all of our food groups have important nutrients, have important vitamins, minerals, and we need all of those items to have a healthy diet.
Well, you anticipated one of my questions, and that was about exclusion diets. Diets that exclude all carbohydrates, diets that exclude all fats. The Atkins diet, all of those type of things, address that.
Absolutely. Carbohydrates, first of all, people think those are like the enemy. Don't eat anything white. That's the bad stuff. And a lot of times I'll elaborate and say, well, what do you mean? Well, potatoes. Potatoes are terrible for you. And I'm like, well, is it the potato, or it's what we do with the potato?
It's the butter, sour cream, cheese, and
deep fry
bacon bits.
And why not dip it in chocolate? So, but really any elimination diet doesn't work. And that's because you think of carbohydrates. That has a lot of our B vitamins that help with energy and metabolism. It also has fiber that helps with heart health, digestion. So we need the carbohydrates. It's making the choice between the good carbohydrates and the bad carbohydrates. So your whole grain products, bread, rice, pasta, your beans, legumes, and then trying to limit the cakes, cookies, and pies. Now, I didn't say avoid, I said limit those things, because those are it has no nutritional value. That's stuff that we enjoy. I call that soul food. That's good for our soul. And then other carbohydrates are fruits. We need those. Vitamin C, here we are in cold and flu season. We need plenty of fruit. It's how much we eat. And then, of course, some of our vegetables, our potatoes, those are good carbohydrates. And you mentioned fats, and our good fats are very important for helping cholesterol health.
What's an example of a good fat? I don't know what a good fat is.
Sure. Well, I'm glad you asked. Anything that's liquid at room temperature, so your oils. And most people know by now that olive oil is probably one of the best oils. However, it doesn't taste good in a baked good. I tried it one time. It was not very good.
Okay.
So another substitute would be canola oil, and those are higher in our good fats that help with cholesterol health. Another suggestion too is, with our snack foods, chips and things like that, instead of choosing that, go with a handful of nuts or seeds. Those are chocked full of our good fats. And I love Mexican food. That's actually that's its own food group.
So you recommend a burrito a day to keep the doctor away?
Every now and then a burrito is fine, but instead of putting a huge dollop of sour cream, go with maybe some guacamole or avocado, because that has more of your good fats versus the fats that clog up our arteries that are in sour cream, butter, and margarine.
Mm-hmm. I'm already hungry, but now I've got to work this off. And David, everyone wants to start exercising, and patients tell me I'm going to get out and I'm going to start running 6 miles tomorrow, and I'm going to do this and do that. What's your recommendations on people to try to start something that they can really stick with?
I think first it's important, if you've not exercised, is to contact your physician and consult with them first, just to make sure there aren't any health needs that need to be achieved first or taken care of first. And if there are pain limitations, maybe consulting with a physical therapist that the doctor may want you to see, just to make sure that there's not going to be any harm from exercise. But yeah, like Christy said, pacing yourself is important, and setting goals. Too often people jump into things they did when they were 20 and now they're 60, trying to conquer new heights that they've not been to in a long time, and they end up having issues or pain that commences from that. So if we can encourage people to take it a little bit at a time and progress into activity slow but sure, they tend to do much better.
Well, David, what's a good exercise I could start with the first of the year?
Yeah, especially if you've not done much in a long time. If you're looking for the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to exercise, the research shows the greatest and the most significant effects from just walking, and walking 30 minutes 5 times a week. And again, that's
and walking is something everyone can do if they're physically able, of course, but you don't have to join a gym. You don't have to spend a lot of money on expensive equipment. Just get out and walk. And there's different places to walk, at the mall, at different churches and things like that.
Yeah, and the health benefits are great. Not only will you see some change in weight over time, it's more of a marathon than a sprint when you're walking to lose weight, but you show reduction of anxiety by 48%, reduction of depression in low doses of walking by 30%, up to 50% reduction of depression in people who walk more. You see decrease in pain, increase in range of motion. You see decrease in heart incidences for people who exercise, as much as 88% reduction of heart disease and heart issues, I should say,
wow,
with just exercise and walking. So there are huge effects from just walking and being able to move. Christy likened what she does to feeding your car, giving it the right kind of fuel. Movement is much the same way. If you leave a car in the garage for a long time and don't crank it up, it sputters when you first start. So it's important to keep your body moving, keep things from gunking up, if you will, keep things fluid and working the way that they should.
Well, it's a great analogy that both of y'all use, and I use it every day because most people take better care of their car than they do themselves. And I think diet and exercise is so important, especially at the beginning of the year. Everyone wants to do something new, and this is great. So 15 seconds, tell me the best diet to be on.
Like I said, no diet, it's meal plan. 3 meals a day, and get your fresh fruits and vegetables, low-fat dairy and low-fat meats, and then choose your salty items and your desserts in moderation.
And David, the best exercise to start with?
Yeah, exercise as far as walking 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week. If you're more advanced than that, then get with a trainer or a therapist and let them progress you along appropriately based on your goals and what your needs are.
You know, if you don't have enough time to exercise 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, you're too busy. Now, coming up next is going to be a success story that this person followed exactly what these two people said.